You know, I'm something of a podcast myself. I'm something of a podcast myself. You know, I'm something of a podcast. I'm something of a podcast. I'm something of a podcast myself.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Something of a Podcast. The only podcast brave enough to say, I'm something of a podcast myself. We are back for our 18th episode here. I am your one of your hosts, Mike Gamms, as always. And with me is the queen of Halloween herself, Miss KaiVonDoom. Say hello, Kai.
Hello, Kai.
um, yeah, so we are back for our 18th episode. We are right smack in the middle of Kai-tober or spooky season or October, as some people call it, or Halloween season or horror month or whatever you want to call it. It is Kai-tober, I think, is the best way to put it. So for the whole month, those that they celebrate Kai-tober month round. I myself celebrate Kai-tober starting in October 1st through the end of the month, as you're supposed to, right?
Yes, that's the way to do it. But now is the time to celebrate the most because my birthday is in 2 days.
Right. Today's the 16th. We're recording. I should have this out either today or tomorrow. But in time for officially Kai Day or whatever, the 18th, and this is our 18th episode.
Yeah, it's fitting.
It worked out. Yeah, what have you been doing to celebrate Kai-tober so far?
Nothing.
That's not true.
Nothing
I've
at all.
seen pictures of you in Halloween costume doing comedy at least
Yeah,
once.
that was my open mic that I would have hosted regardless.
Right, but you were, you're doing, you had a special costume edition, or you're encouraging costumes.
Yeah, I'm encouraging costumes all month.
That's what it is. I seen that there was already some participants, and what costume were you in?
The first week of the month, I was a witch. Then
Okay,
I was Itachi from Naruto this week.
nice. That's pretty cool. I think that's in part a Kai Kai-tober celebration, I think that certainly would be classified as one of the traditions now, or maybe it's a new tradition, but I know you regularly dress up in costume like year round, but also especially during Kai-tober, right?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love cosplay. I love dressing up whenever I can. So yeah, all October.
Nice. You have any other big plans for Kai-tober?
Yeah, actually in the morning I'm headed to New York City.
New
So
York
that should be
City.
fun. The Big
Nice.
Apple.
The big apple. You can go take a bite out of it. Just um, are you doing any comedy while you're down there, or is this a strictly pleasure visit?
We'll see. I might hit a few mics, but
TBD, yeah.
we'll see how I feel.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that'll be fun. New York City is fun. It's a nice time of year still before it gets too cold, to be like outside and stuff. Um, I saw you did another Halloween show like last week at the comedy club, didn't you?
Yes, I did. That one was really fun.
Nice, with Tommy Beckholt and others coming at the Carlson, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
So it was in the
go ahead.
Ripples room at Comedy at the Carlson. It was me and a few white men. We had a
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I seen that, and it's like I've known Tommy for years and years, and what's funny is I'm sure you saw it, but like filmed like a sort of ripoff of Between Two Ferns style show like with Tommy many years ago, and it wasn't even in Kai-tober. It was in the middle of December, and Tommy took all these like Halloween puns. And so I just thought it was funny to repost them for that.
What did the werewolf say to the mummy when he was taking too long in the bathroom? Wrap it up. Because he's a mummy.
I don't get it.
Where does Dracula store all of his money? In a blood bank. These jokes, believe it or not, take months to craft.
I'm considering it a honorary part of Kai-tober because they were wise enough to book, like I said, the Queen of Halloween herself, KaiVonDoom, during Kai-tober.
Yeah, there's a lot of Halloween shows in Rochester that I'm not on. It's very interesting.
Yeah, we know what they're really afraid of this Halloween. Yeah, it's like a lineup of all ghosts, right? Like white as a ghost, generally a lot of them. Yeah, but that's cool though. That you're going to New York, and we're right smack in the middle of Kai-tober. I haven't done too much to celebrate Kai-tober yet, but I'm thinking I might be at another costume party sometime soon, and I feel like I could have some like pieces on the ready. I could pull out when I need, like, but they're all kind of like my cosplays. But I was thinking I should get a red and white striped shirt, and then I could just be ready to go as Waldo at all times. What do you think? Yeah, if I have like a knit hat, I think I could pull that off. That's like a pretty lazy costume,
Yeah, at Firehouse yesterday, I lost a costume contest to someone who just had a mop on his head.
What?
Yeah. It's my birthday week, and they didn't even give me the win. I guess the mop was like a wig, and then they had glasses on. They were a sexy schoolgirl.
I see. And what were you?
I was Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I've seen that picture of you as Scorpion. Yeah, you should have won, hands down. That's it should have been a fatality or whatever,
I honestly thought I would get votes just because it was my birthday, but
yeah, that is wild. It is the 1 week, and they're like, nope. Yep, that's wild. But yeah, see, so there's another. I knew you're celebrating Kai-tober all month, because there's another time you were on stage in a costume yesterday. Yeah, I always like. I never end up having the best Halloween costumes. I'm sort of like I don't know. I always feel it's hard because everyone puts in like all this effort into their looks like once or twice a year. And I'm like, I think I put in enough effort into my look like consistently throughout the year that it kind of like, I don't have it for just like one day, But I don't, once a weekend warrior, some of us dress like fools all the time.
Yeah, I wear costumes and dress like it's Halloween all the time. So by the time Halloween gets around, it's like, oh, it's just another day.
Yeah. As a great John Cicada said, it's just another day. But I was I went to Cleveland for a little while. And I did this music festival called Engine Festival. It was wild though. It was like you were in like a acid trip, but it was like a all ages family event with thousands of people there, like walking around this place. And then I went straight from there to do the Cleveland roast battle, which I don't know if you saw any of the video of that one, but I got beat pretty bad.
I think you did a good job, though.
Yeah, I mean, I edited it pretty nicely on that video to make it seem like it was.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Iggy Poppers. Mike has been doing stand-up for many years. He's not sure how to kill a set, but he's an expert in Percocet.
I'm not saying that he's a receptacle filled with DNA and bacteria, But both Brandon Petrie and a Petri dish are something that you might find in a rape kit.
Thanks, Narcan Norman Reedus.
Hell yeah.
Mike is what happens when you take the trains out of autism but leave the track marks.
Give it up one more time for this Hitler Youth basketball coach over here. I'm not saying Brandon is a Nazi, but he thinks the only good Jew is a kaiju.
That means a lot coming from ketamine Keanu Reeves.
Hell yeah.
Mike looks like the only LA vampire dumb enough to bite Tommy Lee.
Give it up again for a guy who first said the N-word when he heard the words, "I'm taking my talents to South Beach."
Mike looks like he's never used bath water, but he's purchased several other people's.
But yeah. Have you what about have you been watching any television or any movies lately? Been caught up on anything?
Not much. I just finished up The Circle, which
Nice.
yeah, there's a completely new season out aside from the one like we talked about the one with the like AI character. So another season has come and gone since then. No AI this time,
Oh,
but
nice.
lots of white woman tears, lots of casual. But that's what I expect from reality shows.
Nice. You said you just finished it, so that one's all out now, or?
So every episode of that one's out. The winner has been declared.
Were you watching it like every week, or did you binge it all at once?
Oh no, I was watching it every week, getting pissed off every week.
Oh, you had me at white women tears.
Well, there's this lady, not to spoil too much if someone wants to watch the show, but there's this lady named Madeline who, like I said, they're all like playing basically like on social media. So this girl makes up for her about the one black guy on the show for no reason. Like she had no beef with him, hardly interacted with him. She just decided that she was just going to tell a blatant lie about him to try to get him kicked out. And when he defended him, when he defended himself, he didn't come for her. He was just like, "That's not true. She's making that up." She starts crying, like to herself, to the cameras where no one could even see her, just like crying and going, "I can't believe he would come for me like that." It's like you literally are just making up lies about this man for no reason. Yeah, it's such a microcosm of how society is in real life. Because this man was not affecting her gameplay at all, wasn't a threat to her. Honestly, it probably hurt her gameplay to come after him like that. And she just decided to make up a blatant lie about him. And then did the same thing to the black woman who was left after she got him kicked out. Just played the victim and cried about it.
Yeah,
So
just
if
being real blatant with it.
If she would have won, I would have stopped watching the show and stopped watching Netflix, honestly. I hated her that much.
I see.
No, thankfully, a lot of people hated her. Because usually when I watch like Love is Blind or The Circle or one of these shows and someone's casually racist or blatantly to me, everyone will be like, "Oh no, she's just playing the game. That's just a part of the game." But everyone's like, "No, this bitch is demented."
You know, I'm something of a podcast myself.
Did you happen to see Joker 2 yet?
I never planned on watching that, to be honest. As soon as I heard it was a musical, I was like, "No, thank you."
Now I want to see it just out of like, morbid curiosity. I'm really interested, but huge, massive flop critically, commercially, financially, directed by white man Todd Phillips versus like say how they covered the Marvels, which they called a big flop despite making more money than this. I'm sure you've caught wind of some of this, right?
Yep. This movie has made less money than Morbius. So it is a gigantic flop, but no one, like you said, no one's talking about it.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have any white male-led movies anymore. Maybe we shouldn't have any white male-directed movies anymore, like they did with The Marvels as one example, or even Madam Web as another example, both of which performed better than this movie and were like got better reviews too, slightly, you know.
Yeah, I will say this: the first Joker, black love interest, Zazie Beetz. This one,
Oh,
white woman. Just saying.
that's right. I forgot Zazie Beetz is in that movie. That's right.
Zazie Beetz in more movies. That's the point.
Exactly.
I will also say, now that this movie is just being critically panned, now I want to see it. At first, I heard it was a musical. I said, "This is not for me," but it's getting such bad reviews
Exactly.
that now I feel like I have to see it.
Joker 2 doesn't have a black woman lead, but it still has a woman of color because, you know, Lady Gaga's Italian.
I should have seen that coming.
I'm something of a podcast myself.
Well, the last movie I saw, I know for a fact you have not seen it. I just watched Terrifier 3.
Okay, go ahead. So I wanted to ask you about this.
Mhm. So I'm a huge fan of the Terrifier movies. So there's this interesting thing that's happened. And as a horror fan, as a female horror fan, I've heard this conversation so many times over where it's like horror is this inherently sexist genre because women are primarily the ones getting murdered in these movies. And so there was specifically with the Terrifier movies, the first two movies got this criticism that the main villain, Art the Clown, would brutally murder these women, like saw them in half, like just completely brutalize them. And then the men in the movies would just get like shot or like have a quick death. So they would say, oh, he's like unrelentlessly cruel to women. And it's also lately there's been this thing where Gen Z is watching Nightmare on Elm Street for the first time. They're like, Freddy Krueger is a pedophile. I can't believe this. And it's kind of like these are horror villains. They're supposed to be monsters. They're not supposed to be good people. So saying that Art the Clown is sexist is not. It's like, well, yeah, he is.
Yeah,
He's not a good person.
right.
He's killing.
Am I crazy? Did this Terrifier come out of nowhere? Like it
So,
seems.
you're not crazy.
Okay.
So the thing is, these are like indie movies, and so for an independent film to be performing this well in the box office, especially like yeah, it's October, so horror movies do a little better this time of year, but it's insane. I would have never expected this movie to be blowing up the way it is. So there's actually more than 3 movies. There's like
I see.
prequels before the first Terrifier movie. And like before the first one, like there's this movie called All Hallows Eve. That was the first time the character was in it. Like nobody.
I see. So these characters existed in other movies.
Yeah. So it was pretty underground. And then, like I said, it's like it got so much criticism for being like sexist that, you know, like I wouldn't have even expected Terrifier 3 to have like a wide release in theaters the way it has. So
It's like one of the movies in the country right now, like huge box office, right?
yeah, it's killing the Joker right now. What I do love though that the character of Art the Clown is like played by David Howard Thornton, who is like openly leftist, like openly supports Palestine, like just seems like an amazing person. And then
Nice.
like the movies are getting trashed because his character is a piece of shit. It's like, well, yeah, he's supposed to be. It's a horror movie. It's not a guide to live your life by. But the most brutal kill in this movie is against a man, and I feel like that's just like, you know, just like, oh well, this is what you wanted. I saw. I'm not gonna say what happened, but I've seen plenty of the men around me in the theater crossing their legs during that scene. It was very funny. I enjoyed it. That's all I got. I haven't really been watching anything doing much.
Yeah. You can find Something of a Podcast at Something of a Pod on Instagram, Something of a Podcast on YouTube. And wherever you're listening, you could listen, where
Yeah, just on Facebook as KaiVonDoom Comedy and any of the other apps, just search KaiVonDoom.
yeah, I think you're the only KaiVonDoom that I know of. Wait.
Bye.
You know, I'm something of a podcast myself. I'm something of a podcast myself. You know, I'm something of a podcast. I'm something of a podcast myself.